Welcome to Business, Bets, and Buddies, the Hounds of Business Fantasy Football League. Join us each week throughout the football season as some of the world's top podcasters discover new businesses, make silly fantasy football bets amongst friends, and promote positivity around the globe. This show could not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Richmond. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide, Brilliant Beam Media, and the Walking Tall Movement.
And dance, and dance, and dance. You know, I missed that last week since you didn't host the show, Madame. That's always the highlight of my Saturday morning is hearing you and dance and dance. But how are you? If you don't know, welcome to Business, Bets, and Buddies, a Hounds of Business Community Fantasy Football League. I'm Chris Maliszewski, co-founder of the Walking Tall Movement. We'll get to know me a little bit later, but most importantly, I have the honor of being a co-host today with Miss Raquel Flores from Houston, Texas. Miss Raquel hosts the most amazing Raquel's Connection Corner on Saturday mornings. If you're not aware, please check it out. It varies in time, but it streams beautifully on LinkedIn or YouTube. So Raquel, how are you today?
Well, oh my goodness, I may have to carry you around so you can properly introduce me everywhere I go. What did you do? I mean, that would be amazing.
I'm like a hype man. I'm like Flavor Flav. I should be getting a big clap.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, but before I get to the real topic for discussion, I want to know, how are you doing? I know you were at the Texas A&M game on Saturday. How are you feeling after that experience?
Oh my gosh. So experiencing an Aggie game, y'all, is like none other. It was an amazing thing. We were celebrating my brother's birthday, kind of combined with mine. But it was amazing. We beat Mississippi State. So, hey, whoop. So shout out to all the Aggies out there celebrating. It was fantastic. It was an amazing experience for sure.
What was that? Hey, whoop. How's that? Is that right?
Yes, a whoop. So those are for the seniors or those who have graduated. So yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't have the luxury of going to Texas A&M. I was a University of Iowa graduate myself. They're doing quite well themselves, but that's college football. You know, we have a fantasy football league that talks professional football, and I don't want to highlight too much about the butt whooping I placed on Jeff Walliner. I actually want to highlight a game. Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? When you and I played each other, and we happened to have a side bet, and you were so kind to be true to your word and stick to your end of the bargain, and so we're going to actually double up on it because you did wear this during a show, but you're brave and you're going to put that thing on for us today, aren't you?
Wow. See, this is the stuff that I'm saying. We had a bet. I already paid it off, but you know what? Because I love you. You're my friend. I'm going to do it for you just because
Thank you, hermana. Did I say that right?
Hermana. There you go. So guys,
hermana. Okay.
So please,
hermana.
as I dawn this on me, explain to the audience what's going on.
Yes, that's right. So we played each other in fantasy football. If you don't know, we have a great fantasy football league sponsored by great people like Mike King out of Richmond, Virginia, and ESPN Radio, Brilliant Beam Media, and Miss Celia Satorat, our lovely producer, Raquel's Connection Corner, as I said, the Hounds of Business Community, and us in Walking Tall. But if you can't see and you're listening on radio this morning, Raquel is holding up a Bears chain. It's got the Bears logo with a big old orange, whatever you want to call it, chain for her to wear around her neck. So you are like Flavor Flav. Remember how I said I'm your hype man? You're now the Bears.
I see that. So I'm supposed to say the Bears, right? Go Bears.
The Bears. All right. Well, our fantasy football league is in full swing. I happen to be in second place. You happen to be in second to last, I think. So I don't want to belabor that point. I want to get to our guest, and he is just the most amazing man. For those of you that don't know, we're so excited to bring on Mr. Brady Hubler. He's a 25-year veteran of the Seattle Fire Department. He is now the co-owner of Untamed Coffee Company in Sumner, Washington. He's a true hero on many, many, many levels. And from what I hear, he produces a good pot of coffee. So, Brady, welcome to the show. I'm so excited for folks to get to know you. And if you don't mind, please introduce yourself, pre-Untamed, and what you've done with your life, and maybe a little bit about where you're at now.
Thank you, Chris and Raquel, for having me on here. I'm honored to be here with you guys and get a talk. And it's 24 years in January with
I'm
Seattle
sorry,
Fire.
24.
Yeah, don't pump me up. Don't pump me out too much beyond that. No, I did. I jumped in the Seattle Fire Department right in January 2000. which was an amazing group of people going through recruit school there. Spent most of my career on Engine 13 on Beacon Hill. One of the only people, I think, in the department, as far as I know, to go from tailboard to driver, and then brought right back, promoted, and still put back on the same rig. So that's kind of my, I don't know, my pedigree there for that department. Yeah. But yeah, after my 24 years, or actually a little bit less than that, I found that I needed to take some time off. I went out on a just kind of like a mental leave of absence on working on some PTSD issues. And that has kind of opened up a whole new world for me, jumping down that rabbit hole. And in the meantime, we decided to open up a coffee company, wife and I and another partner.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And Raquel, as you know, I myself have PTSD, and that's how Brady and I met. Frankly, we have a mutual friend named Miss Callie Ortega with the Melios Group, and she thought so highly of Brady and I to introduce the two of us, given our experiences and our passions for mental health. So, and I know you have a passion for mental health yourself, Raquel. What comes to your mind when you're hearing Brady's quick story?
Well, absolutely. The first thing that I relate to is, I do also have some form of PTSD because of the Civil War in El Salvador when I was a child. So I do carry that. Sometimes it's triggered, other times it's not. So it's a healing journey. Every single day is a different opportunity to heal. And I use that as part of my platform too, to be able to speak up for others who are going through the same thing. Mental health advocacy for me is very important. But the other similarity that we have is our love for coffee. My goodness. Yes. Being a Salvadorian, come on, we're known for coffee as well. So I was like, coffee on board. Hello, I'm right here. So I wanted to say thank you, Brady, just because, my God, the aroma is like overpowering. I cannot wait.
It is some good coffee. Yeah. You have the medium, and the medium was kind of the first one that we got on board with. And yeah, it's a gorgeous cup of coffee.
We'll talk about it as I show it.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah. Well, I gotta admit though, I'm not quite the coffee drinker. I'm more of the tea man myself, but I may have to get back in it, looking at that bag and that great artwork on the front, and knowing what it stands for and who it supports. So yeah, tell us about it.
Right. Well, the like I said, that medium was our first one we did. It's a bean out of Peru. And it seems like it's the perfect elevation and obviously the perfect roast. It is no floral hints, no zingy, nothing like that. It's a beautiful, bold medium, Raquel, super smooth. Yeah, it is a great cup of coffee.
I love it. I'm seriously like, no joke. I'm about to go to the grinder after this.
I'm at it. Yeah.
But most people that we send that coffee to, when they try that medium, they don't go back to their other stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Raquel. You're the coffee connoisseur. Have at you know all about it. I know nothing.
Well, I'm telling you, like, as soon as I got it from the mailbox, it's like this aroma, this waft just hit me. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the good stuff. And I'm like, I cannot wait. Mama needs a cup of coffee right after this. So Brady, thank you so much for this. This is amazing. Absolutely. I cannot wait to dig in. And I'm telling you, everybody should try it. Scan the QR code that you see right there.
Yeah, scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to Untamed Coffee Company's website, their LinkedIn profile. And Brady, it just dawned on me. I know why Raquel was just mentioning she needs a cup of coffee, because she's still tired from her tailgate on Saturday. I'm on to you. But Brady,
my God,
you and I, we've gotten to know each other, and I've been so fortunate to be able to text you back and forth on a one-on-one personal level, and in your journey and in your vulnerability and therefore your strength is so inspiring. And we're going to highlight your coffee once again, but, just talk a little bit about how you've come to be a mental health advocate and how you've, chosen to be so vulnerable yourself, and talking about the struggles you have due to your service.
Yeah. It's been a tough road, honestly. It always is to open that up. And I personally am one of those people that have always kind of, in the back called BS on any, mental health struggles. I've always looked at that as total weakness in the individual, and you just need to, pull up your big boy panties and move on. But for years, I've had some work friends telling me I should go talk to somebody. My wife has said the same thing. And I came to a point in my career where I had that opportunity to kind of take this self journey. And once I did, and once I opened up kind of that, I don't know, that mental health door and started looking down into that, it's been a rough journey. You learn a lot about yourself. And me now being away from the fire department for a while, working on that, I think I have more of that armor that I put on every day to kind of protect me emotionally from some of the calls. More of that armor is gone. And so those effects, I think, open up more now for me. Mm-hmm. So with kind of, learning that stuff about myself and then other firefighters, we've started having the occasional meetings. Sometimes they're just a one-on-one down at the coffee shop. Sometimes we have a group that meets down there, and we don't necessarily talk about anything PTSD related or mental health. Sometimes it's just getting together and chatting about life and just being there for each other. And that's something that we really want out of our coffee company and out of our coffee shop, is that community feel and that ability to meet as groups, first responders or anybody that wants to come in and be able to just kind of have that safe place and to recognize that it's not a weakness. It is, like for a bunch of us, it's a career of gnarly stuff that just builds up over time, changes your personality, makes you faster to anger, gives you family issues, spousal issues. And it's just a good place to come and get together and work on some of those together.
Yeah. Raquel, now you know why I was so excited for you to meet Brady. You just saw his strength and his courage in disclosing, what he's experienced through his service of 24 years, and as a Seattle firefighter. And you've also displayed such courage, being an ambassador with the Walking Tall movement and choosing to share your story of vulnerability. And as you talk and discuss about your story of immigration and the trauma that you experienced, as you mentioned earlier, of the Civil War in El Salvador. So, what about what Brady is just discussing of his service kind of resonates with you and makes you sit back and say, hey, I never thought about that from a firefighter's perspective, or maybe you have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, thank you, Brady, for doing everything that you've done for your community and for literally, I would say, standing up, right, and being the voice for first responders. We don't think about that and what first responders go through. So I definitely do connect in that aspect, that being Latina, coming from such a third world country and going through the assimilation process here in the United States and experiencing so many things that we shouldn't experience. But how can we use those traumatic environment or situations in order to build a positive platform to move forward? So I thank you and commend you for what you're doing, because I guess it transcends the fire, just not only the first responders, but it really resonates. Your story, right? Yeah. Storytelling is so important. And that is one of the follow-up questions that I had for you is, when was that moment that you decided, I need to start telling my story because there is power behind that? So what key moment was that for you?
It's funny that that only came about after randomly meeting Deputy Chief Chuck DeSmith and Callie Ortega from the Melios group. They were at our coffee shop working on some mental health stuff for kind of a South King County area and the Renton Regional Fire Authority. And running into them, sitting down, talking to them, and finding out just how much they were doing and what they wanted to do for their, the fire departments, and with this mental health and how open they were. And the program that they were putting in place, it just seems like it far surpasses anything I've ever heard of, and definitely anything we've ever had in Seattle. And it was sitting and talking with them and their openness, kindness, and just that immediate love feeling of like care. And they actually cared about me. That made it really easy for me to open up. And that kind of started off this whole journey of being able to get myself to tell a story, because I am typically the guy that I'm not out in public. I sit in the back of rooms. I don't like large events, all that stuff. And so for me to step forward and tell a little bit about my struggles is difficult, but again, it's kind of freeing at the same time. But it's obviously through Chuck and Callie that I got to meet Chris, and everything has just bloomed since then.
Yeah, blooming is the right word, I would say, for sure, because anyone who comes across and has the honor of actually meeting Chris, something changes, their life changed for the positive. So that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that part.
Stop yourself. No, and but Brady, It's been my honor, you know, as you may have heard and as you maybe dug around about the Walking Tall movement, we have and had aspirations, deep, strong ones to communicate and to be an ally to the first responder community. And I know Dr. LaRosa and Todd feel the same. And we mentioned, you know, Todd did a speech out in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago for a first responders organization. And now having the opportunity, and I know you and I have spoke offline about potentially bringing Walking Tall out to Sumner and doing some coffee chats at Untamed, or maybe going into some fire stations. It just inspires me that you're willing to do that and you know, partner with us as we move forward. You know, not only in coffee sales, but hopefully in telling our stories.
Right. And I think that's what it takes is, you know, the right individuals to push some of this narrative forward. And especially to have somebody, I kind of feel like me, that has always looked at it as a weakness. And in the fire service, it's always felt like something that we tout a lot of, like, hey, mental health. And we don't stand behind it in the fashion that we should.
Yeah, it's true. And I feel that, you know, in my own lived experiences, having been a mass shooting survivor. And, you know, I often say, you know, I had one experience of which I never chose to be in, which is why I have great admiration for first responders like yourselves, because you have willingness, you willingly subject yourself to what you know will be trauma. And one of the things that I've come to know about the state of Washington and many others now that really is eye-opening is that I believe, particular to your state, is that after 10 years of service, you're assumed to have a PTSI now. Is that right?
Correct.
That is. State of Washington?
Yes, there's an RCW that actually states that if 10 years or more on the job, that it is a presumptive injury.
Yeah. How miraculous and how great. How, you know,
well, they still,
yes and no.
Yeah, they still fight you on it, right?
Well, it's a system, right?
Yeah, they say, yes, you have it, but you've got to jump through hoops.
Yeah, it's a system. And Raquel, I know you know all about systems and your experience and how hard things are made for us to get, you know, simple things that, you know, we need at various points in our lives. You know, what's your sentiment when it comes to navigating systems?
Absolutely. You know, with everything, there's going to be obstacles set in stone, sometimes in sand, but it's just a matter of what you're going to do with those stones on the road, right? Or are you going to try to, like, you know, just get them out of the way, or what is it that you're going to do? Jump over them? At the end of the day, for me, what's been an instrumental part of this community, and this is something you alluded to earlier, Brady, and how important it's been, right? Sitting across the table and having a cup of coffee with somebody, being vulnerable and sharing that, you know, your story of resilience, your story of maybe not being so resilient, and of just being you, and it's perfectly okay. Just having that, you know, that message resonate with so many individuals there. So for me, community has been very important, and I carry that forward with everything that I do in my advocacy, in my platform, in my mission. You know, we are here to empower, educate, and uplift one another. So for you, Brady, I wanted to ask, what is your vision moving forward with Untamed Coffee, with your platform, pretty much? Like, what do you foresee? What would you like to see happen?
With Untamed Coffee, I mean, I will be first to say that my wife has the greater vision for that company, as I sit as kind of the, I don't know, the item on the shelf, kind of watching the company grow.
You're the model, like you are. We got to get to that, Mr. Model. Yeah.
No, but no, what I would love is, obviously, you know, outside of, you know, the growth of our company, right, and supporting first responders, veterans, and mental health movement, specifically regarding the PTSI. I would just love to see, especially within our local shop, we have those kind of coffee talks. And as Chris talked about, I would love to travel around with him to, you know, some of these fire departments and talk from, you know, an actual firefighter that's, you know, not one of the brass, that's the upper admin or anything like that. Not one of the brass that's in the room for these guys that are going to shut everybody down, but to be somebody that says, listen, I've walked along this for years. I've thought this stuff was bogus, and these things have slowly piled up on me and have affected me. I look back, and we'll even say, like, 2003. How was I back then as a super happy, outgoing guy that loved to go, you know, travel and different things? And who am I now? Hate being out in public, can't stand most people, love to be hidden, and I would just like to be up in the hills away from society, right? I mean, that is not a great way to live.
Sure.
I mean, maybe in some aspects it is, but I would just love to see the expansion of our ability to help get that narrative forward with the Walking Tall movement.
Well,
amazing.
Yeah, that gives me goosebumps, you know, just to hear that not only are great people like yourself taking value in what, you know, folks like Raquel and I are doing with the Walking Tall movement, but that you have the same mindset and the same mission, vision, values of helping others. So, you know, we have a few more minutes here, Brady, and, you know, we had one important question, and I want to get back to the coffee and the product at hand. You know, talk a little bit about where people can find you, your website, some of those good things. And then somebody wanted to know, do you have a dark roast? Or is it all medium? You know, talk about what you guys, and then what about, what's a muddy soda? Like, we didn't even get to that.
We've got to go talk about that stuff. So we've got a medium and a dark roast right now. Unfortunately, we don't have any decaf. That was asked earlier on one of the posts. In 2024, we'll have a decaf, but we have a medium and a dark. And I tell you, the medium might have like a little like grain hint at the end. The dark definitely has a cocoa touch. You can see us at untamedcoffeeco.com. If you use the code Live Untamed, all one word, that's a first timer 10% off. So everybody get that one down, Live Untamed. And then on there, obviously we have merchandise. You can order the coffee straight online. We roast and then ship. And there's also monthly subscriptions as well. So if anybody wants, you know, a 12-ounce bag, a 2-pound, 5-pound, we do ship some coffee to like a shop in Tennessee that uses our medium for cold brew, which is phenomenal.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you ship internationally?
We haven't yet, but I'm sure I can.
Oh, okay. All right. Because that's very important. This audience is international.
Yeah,
so, hey.
Yeah,
well, if you can't see, if you're listening on the radio, Raquel is practically making out with a bag of coffee and smelling it deeply. So, yeah, please, untamedcoffeeco.com. Brady, what else do you have to say?
And yeah, our flagship store is in Sumner, Washington. So you can find us there. And actually, if you go to our website, it's got our address, everything on there. So if anybody is local, they can come out and see us that way. But in store, we have muddy sodas. And some people may have heard of them as dirty sodas, but we chose to go with the term muddy. And what they are is any of the Coke product bases and then different syrups added in to kind of elicit different flavor profiles. And they've all got cool names and all that stuff. And we honestly, I think we have, as my wife was telling me, around 300
oh my gosh,
that we have pre-designed, or you can make your own. Come in and say, I like raspberry, I like the coconut, blah, blah, blah. We can mix up any kind of soda for you.
Look at that. So I'm a soda connoisseur, so I could be a soda sommelier at some point. But before we go, Raquel, I want you to please highlight all the amazing work you do through your Connection Corner and all the amazing advocacy and the platform you've created on LinkedIn. So please, where can folks find you?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that opportunity. So y'all can catch me every Saturday at Raquel Connection Corner. As Chris was saying, you know, this is a place where people can connect in a safe space, a safe manner, connect with industry leaders, connect with everyone globally, this because my show is international. So, and I love that, you know, you get to meet so many individuals doing fantastic things for the world, contributing in a positive way. And this is what we're about. So every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I always get that confused, but this, you know, coming weekend, we're going to have phenomenal guests. So please check it out. And then shout out to Brennan or Brannon. I'm not sure if I'm mispronouncing that name, but shout out to you. Thank you so much for saying that coffee is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I'm Chris Maliszewski, co-founder, as I said, of the Walking Tall movement. You could find all of us at www.walkingtallmovement.com. I'm fairly active on LinkedIn myself. But before we sign off, I wanted just to say thank you to our sponsors, you know, the most amazing Mr. Mike King and ESPN Richmond 106.1, I believe. You know, absolutely. Raquel and I love Sia Yasatorad and Brilliant Beam Media. Shout out to her and all the amazing work behind the scenes to make this thing tick. Mike Ashebrander and the Hounds of Business community and supporting, you know, great entrepreneurs like Raquel and Brady. And then us in the Walking Tall movement, you know, are honored to be a sponsor as well. So please check us out. It was an honor to hang out with the two of you for the last 25 minutes. Brady, we hope you sell a lot of coffee due to today's conversation. Please go to untamedcoffeeco.com, find Raquel on LinkedIn or myself. And before we sign off, let's use those two words that I always like to say goodbye to, huh? Brady, you may not know this, but Raquel, you want to lead us?
Sure thing. So on 3, we're going to say walk tall, y'all. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3.
Walk tall.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
This show would not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Radio. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide at caregivingworldwide.com, Brilliant Beam Media at brilliantbeammedia.com, and the Walking Tall Movement at walkingtallmovement.com. Walk tall.